This is huge for the Chicago Bulls. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from tonight's loss against the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so today, the Chicago Bulls lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder 114-95. We're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly in this game. And so let's go ahead and start off with the good, and that is around Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball comes back after sitting out in a back-to-back situation, didn't play against Milwaukee last night, comes back here today to play against Oklahoma City, and this is his first time playing in a game for the Chicago Bulls in quite some time in a season opener here. So this was huge. I think the energy was there. A lot of people wanted to see this. This continues to be a feel-good story for Lonzo Ball. So being able to play in this season opener is huge because we haven't seen that from Lonzo Ball in quite some time. And so he came out today. He was impactful to the game. He still had 5 rebounds. He had a 3-point shot. He also had an assist, and he was +3 in the box score. So Lonzo Ball coming in, playing 16 minutes. So it doesn't look like he's had any setbacks. Hopefully he continues to progress here. So this is a great thing for the Chicago Bulls. And I would say that this is probably one of the better things that happened for the Chicago Bulls. And so as we move forward, let's get into the ugly and the bad here for the Chicago Bulls. And let's start with Coby White. Coby White, after having a great night against Milwaukee, 35 points. I believe he was 7 of 12 from downtown. Tonight, he was 0 of 9, 9 points. He did have 3 assists and 4 rebounds. And I believe he did have a steal as well. But Coby White really struggled. And I think that he fell really in love with shooting the 3 ball. And he didn't take care of business when he got to the free throw line. Only 3 of 6 tonight. And it just seemed like he was off rhythm. I think that was one of the key aspects that I saw from Coby White. I think the looks were there at times, but I think also, too, at times he was really trying to force it. And instead of just taking the 3-point shot, I think that he could have probably went to the basket a little bit more, put some more pressure on the defense, and I'd like to see him attack a little bit more. So, I think Coby kind of fell in love with that 3-point shot, needs to attack the rim a little bit better, but this is something that I'm not going to be worried about long-term for him. I think that this was just a tough night tonight, so you have to give OKC the credit for playing him defensively tough inside as well, and really kind of getting him out of rhythm. So next up, the next key point out of this is Josh Giddy. So Josh Giddy does go out there and score 14 points today. He did have 4 assists as well. And, he did get some rebounds too with the 7 rebounds. But I think the key takeaway for me tonight is the 3 turnovers, and he was 2 of 6 from downtown. And so, that was a little bit of a different story from what we saw yesterday because, Josh Giddy is not a 3-point shooter, and at least not yet. He's still having to develop into that. And I think he did a great job last night by really getting downhill and then only taking those 3-point shots when it was necessary or when, the offense kind of opened up that shot. I think today you've seen him take some shots from out there that he didn't necessarily have to take. 2 of 6 is tough there. And I think that he probably needed to have the ball in his hand a little bit more and for him to kind of set the table a little bit. I don't think that he got a chance to kind of set the table as much as he did in yesterday's game. But, that's a tough one for Josh Giddy. He's definitely got to cut down the turnovers, especially being a lead guard, and just not get himself into those situations where the defense is making him a jump shooter and he's still attacking out there. I think that we're better served when he's doing that. And defensively, it was a tough night tonight. Yes, he did get beat, but as a team, we didn't defend as well as we should have. We blew a lot of assignments out there, and that's part of the deal. It's the team around Josh Giddy along with that ability to compete there that he's going to have to get better at on the defensive end. So a tough night for him tonight as well. Next up with Billy Donovan. I think that Billy Donovan really ran into a challenging night tonight. I think that he gets a chance really to see how this is going to be on the back end of a back-to-back because I think that this team was coming in off an emotional win, and I think that they were riding that emotion. And I think that you can only ride those emotions for so long. And then when that other team like OKC makes those adjustments, well, Billy Donovan's got to make some adjustments as well. And that might mean that he has to play 12 in the rotation. I know he's initially said 10, but maybe it has to be 12. I would have loved to see Dalen Terry go out there and play some more. I definitely think that Dalen Terry maybe could have brought a little bit more energy for us tonight. And maybe perhaps he would have had to go ahead and go to Torrey Craig as well. Like when the game was tight and we were trying to find our way, maybe throwing Torrey Craig out there, a player that has not played over the first couple games, might have been that veteran leadership that we needed from the bench to kind of help us defensively and maybe help us kind of ride the storm a little bit offensively and get us into some better things. So, these are some things that, Billy Donovan could possibly have considered as far as making adjustments. And I think, just really driving home the point that, yes, it's okay to play fast. And yes, it's okay to generate these 3-point shots, but it's also going to be okay to get into a little bit of a fast half-court game. Like you still can go ahead, get the backdoor cuts. You can still have the ball movement, player movement. I think that that's something that has to be an emphasis here. And so that's Billy Donovan just having to, have those tough conversations with the team during the game and let them know, like, hey, let's not keep settling for the 3-point shot. So I think a tough win here tonight for Billy Donovan. And this is part of the growth process, too, with this team. He's going to have to continually make adjustments to try to find the best team out there that's going to give us the best size, the best spacing, the best defense, the best athleticism. That's going to be the challenge really every night for Billy Donovan and this team. And so as we push forward, we go into the box score. And I think some of the glaring things on the box score is I've got to give Patrick Williams his credit, because Patrick Williams came out today, and I know he didn't knock down a lot of shots. He only had 3 points today, and I know he was only 1 of 8. That's fine, too. I think that I'll take away the fact that he defensively was going out there. I felt the energy from Patrick Williams. And he was, I think he was 3rd in rebounds tonight. So that lets me know, look, he's hitting the boards. And I've said it before that, look, it's not necessarily about the points for Patrick Williams. We know he can do that. That's something that can come along. But defense is something that should be Patrick Williams' calling card. And even though we take the loss tonight, I think that defensively he did a terrific job. And I also love the fact that, look, the plus minus box score, you can kind of look at that. It's like a grain of salt. But he was the second best out of the starters on the plus minus there. So take that for what you want, for what you may. But next up, going into another piece in the box score was Zach LaVine. And so Zach LaVine, what's very glaring about this is he had the 7 turnovers. Now, we'll give him credit. He did have the 9 rebounds. He did have some assists out here. But the 7 turnovers is something that, when Zach LaVine gets into that, that's where this team, it gets tough for us, because that is a good indication that we're taking some shots that we shouldn't be taking. He's also forcing the ball and going a little bit quicker than he needs to. I think that he was really looking for a lot of calls, and I think that led to some turnovers. And so Zach LaVine has got to get away from that and just really focus on now still being effective, being impactful like he was in Milwaukee, but being that third, fourth best option and not forcing things like that. And so that's something that Zach LaVine's going to have to correct. That's 2 times, 2 different games that we've had 7 turnovers in those games, and the results have not been good for us offensively here. So as we move forward and we look at the team box score, some of the key takeaways here is that OKC beat us up inside, 60-30 with points in the paint. I don't know how many times I've seen Chet Holmgren down there. He was bodying, he was getting dunks, he's getting layups. Then you also had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Once he started to get it going, he was getting some stuff going. Jalen Williams was getting it going. I mean, OKC pretty much, they had everything they wanted in the paint at one point in time. And so out of 114 points, that lets you know how much damage that they were doing there. So that's one key takeaway. For the Chicago Bulls, 28% from downtown. I know that that's pretty terrible. I mean, considering what we had just shot the night before, but the 3-point shot going down is something that's going to be up and down with this season. The 53 attempts, I think, might have been a historic mark for the Chicago Bulls. I personally don't remember this team ever taking that many 3-point shots ever. So, I definitely get it that it's locked in, but this is also an indication that you do not have to always shoot the 3 ball. In fact, I think that you have got to figure out a way to continue to play fast in the half court offense, but also to get easy baskets if you don't have that size and things like that. And so that means, you're going to have to find ways to get the lobs to LaVine. You're going to have to find ways to continue to get Vooch on the box, because I think at one point, Vooch had 8 of his 16 points were in the paint. And I think that that's something that Stacey King had talked about, I think in game 1, is that, man, you have to take advantage of those mismatches inside. And so I think that's something that the Bulls kind of got away with. If you have some size advantage, it's fine to let Vooch go ahead and back down and get something going. Or if Josh Giddy has a player that he feels like he can take down there, go with it. And Coby White as well. Like, Coby White was one of the best clutch players in the league last year. He definitely knows how to get things done in a half-court offense at times if we need to. So I think it's really trusting the process, trusting the style of play, and really walking the walk, right? Because you've been walking this walk in training camp. It's something that you have to get better at. And so, I know it was a tough night tonight for the Chicago Bulls, but this is really what it's going to be right now for us as fans. It's going to be up and down, and this is going to be more about just the player development. You're continuing to try to find this personnel that really goes best with this style of play. And I think that, yes, we're going to have to just bear with it. I mean, some nights we're going to look really good. Some nights we're not going to look that great. But, there were some good things that happened. There were also some bad things that happened that were actually the same that we saw in game 1. So I think that the Chicago Bulls have to look at the film. They have to look at those things that went wrong in this game yet again and correct those things. So hopefully we can grow from this. But anyhow, let me know in the comments what you think was the biggest takeaway from this game. Was it the turnovers where we had 26, season high there? Or was it, just some individual players out there that just really didn't get it done out there? So let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Just want to thank everybody out there for liking, sharing, and subscribing out there to Bulls Digest. It means a lot to us here as we try to reach a goal of 5,000 subscribers. And just want to let you know about 64.2 of you that watch are not subscribed. So look, make sure that you go ahead and slam dunk on that subscribe button for me. And look, even though we still have a lot of questions around the Chicago Bulls, and it looked pretty terrible tonight, I'm still saying go Bulls, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.